This is my first time doing this, so you're gonna take a heat-safe container, put water in it, and I have a hot plate here. So whatever you do, make sure that this is made of glass or metal or something that is heat-safe. You want something that is taller rather than wider. You're gonna add as much as you can until you can't get it to dissolve anymore. I'm just gonna keep adding. And you want to super saturate it. So that means that the water is holding as much of the substance as possible. You could also do this with sugar. You could make sugar crystals. That is how rock candy is made. Meanwhile, I have this ready to go. So I have a pencil with a string or something to hold across the top. We'll come back in just a little bit. Okay, I ended up using way more borax even than this. So I think it's about, if you use a cup of water, you should use about a cup of borax. And see it disappear. We all know it's not really disappearing though. What is it doing? Dissolving, that's right. All right, so now's the fun part where I get to add some color. I'm gonna set my pencil with the string. By the way, this is a pipe cleaner on the end, and I'm thinking maybe the crystal will form around that shape. I'm thinking maybe I don't want it to touch the bottom, so I'm just gonna roll this a little bit. Turn your stove off, and you're gonna cover it. Cover it with something that is not plastic. Why? I'll let you figure that out. You probably have a pot lid at home. I don't have a pot lid here, so I'm gonna use this clipboard. You can experiment with how quickly it cools. You have an electric burner like this one, and you leave it off, the burner is still warm and it's cooling down slowly. So that might form a different crystal than if you take it off of the burner and cool it down quickly. In the crystals that form in the earth, there is a big difference between fast cooling and slow cooling in the outcome of how the crystal forms. You're gonna leave it for kind of a long time, overnight, maybe longer. I don't know, I've never done this, so let's try it. Okay, this is not even a whole day later. This is like a couple hours later. Here, look at the inside. Just gonna try to get it out. On the sides a little bit. Oh, that's cool. Whoa, that's cool. Ooh. All right, well, let's keep it going. Okay, it's the next day. In case I need it. Oh, okay, it doesn't really. I hear that you can boil this down again and continue to make the crystal. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna set it here, turn this on again, and boil it down some more. Okay, well that was a disaster. I left this and walked out of the room and forgot that I had it on. So don't do that. Oh boy, and it cracked. Yep. Okay, this is actually a really good example of how gases move through lava and how there are different sized bubbles according to the pressure and what's happening inside the earth. So if you look at the side on the right over here, that is already cooled and this stuff is still bubbling. So also look at the different sizes of the bubbles. That affects the shape of the rock in the end. And I think the size of the bubbles, are they gonna change as the hot plate gets cooler? Well, of course we have to poke it. All right, I will probably clean that up sooner rather than later. Oh look, but it does have like a little shell on top. If you look at the bottom, right down here, there's a little shell on top. See that? And there's like a hole in the middle. See, there's like a little space under here that you could stick the knife into. I think that has to do with how it cooled. Wait a minute. This borax accident actually models something that I've been trying to model for the entire summer. See, I went to Iceland and I saw some landforms firsthand that were formed by volcanoes and lava and rocks cooling at different temperatures. Here's my finger for scale. See, it's all bumpy over here and kind of jagged. And then just a little bit away, it's smooth. Same material, just something caused it to cool differently. So what's a lava tube, and how did this borax accident model it? I took some footage in Iceland on the day that I was visiting the lava tubes, and unfortunately it was pretty windy that day. So your task is to figure out what I was saying. I'm explaining what a lava tube is and how it forms. Can you figure out what I'm actually saying just by looking at my gestures and by comparing to what happened with the borax accident? See if you can write your own narration to go with this video. You may need to do a little more research on lava tubes. Okay, well, definitely do that with adult supervision. But I did end up with a super cool crystal. This is pretty awesome.